कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसकी टैक्स की लायबिलिटी कम से कम हो? कौन नहीं चाहता कि उसका टीडीएस कम से कम डिडक्ट हो? और ख़ास तौर पे अगर हम बात करें सैलरीड एम्प्लॉयज़ की, जिनकी आम तौर पर सैलरी 12 लाख से 15 लाख के बीच में होती है, लेट अस अज्यूम इफ 85,000 और 90,000 टीडीएस इज बीइंग डिडक्टेड आउट ऑफ देयर सैलरी। ये तो वैसी ही बात हो गई कि आपने 12 महीने जम के मन लगा के काम किया एंड आफ्टर दैट 1 महीने की सैलरी आपने सरकारी खजाने में जमा करा दी। I'm not saying that there is anything wrong in depositing tax to the tax authorities, but if Income Tax Act itself is saying that I'm having lots of benefit for you guys, so what is wrong in taking those benefits? ये सारे benefits का फायदा लेके आप अपनी taxability इतनी कम कर सकते हैं कि in some cases you don't have to pay any taxes. So आज का हमारा ये वीडियो इन्हीं सारी चीज़ों के लिए होगा. We'll be discussing the exemptions and deductions which is available for a salaried person. So please मेरे साथ end तक जुड़े रहिए so that you can take most benefit out of that. So before going into the discussions around the exemptions and deductions which is available to a salaried person, first let us understand how many source of income is there in the Income Tax Act. So according to Income Tax Act, there are 5 sources of income which is defined under the Income Tax Act. First one is the income from salary. Second one is the income from house property. Third one is the income from business and profession. Fourth one is income from capital gains. And the last one is income from other sources. So why I am telling you the names of those source of incomes? It is just to give you the glimpse that in the whole picture of Income Tax Act in which scene you are, so that you can understand, okay, this part is what we are talking about. So let's discuss how a salary structure is usually in the companies, what are the components of the salaries, so that we can understand the exemptions and deductions which is available on those parts. So the first component of salary is and will always be the basic salary. That is the first part of your component of salary. You will always see in your salary slip this basic salary. Second thing is the DA, which is dearness allowance. That may or may not be the part of your component of salary. It depends upon the company, how the structure of salary for the employees is there. Third thing is the HRA, which is house rent allowance. Fourth thing is the LTA, which is leave travel allowance. Some company may be providing it in the name of leave travel concession, which is LTC. That is also the same thing. Fifth is the various allowances. Now, there are n number of allowances which is prevailing in the market. If you'll open your salary slip and you'll see there can be various allowances which is provided by the employer too. There can be conveyance allowance, children education allowance, there can be washing allowance, books allowance, extra working allowance, special allowance, remote working allowance. There are various names of allowances which is provided by the employer. All those allowances forms part of the component of your salary income. The sixth thing is the reimbursement. Now what is reimbursement? Basically the reimbursement is the compensation paid by the organization for the expenses made by the employee out of their pocket. अगर एम्प्लॉय अपनी जेब से ऑफिस यूज के लिए कुछ खर्चे कर रहा है, so there may be some benefits which employer is providing to those employees, that you provide us the bills, you provide us the supportings, and we will reimburse those expenses to you. So now let's take some of the names, some of the common names which you might be aware of. One thing is the mobile expenses. अपने मोबाइल का जो भी मंथली रिचार्ज आता है या जो भी बिल आता है, provide that bill to the company and they will reimburse that to you. There can be internet expenses, that can be in the form of food coupons or food cards. You may be aware that some companies are providing Sodexo cards or Sodexo coupons to the employees. These are all coming into the reimbursement part. So this reimbursement also becomes the component of your salary income. Now let's talk about the exemption point of view. There are some things for which there is no exemption which is provided in the Income Tax Act. So if you'll see, there is no exemption specifically provided for the basic salary part. Again, there is no exemption specifically provided for the DA part as well. And there are various other allowances also there. There may be various reimbursement also there, which is not for the office use, and Income Tax Act might say that there will be taxability on that part. So we'll specifically discuss in the next slides. So let's come to the first major part of our discussion, that is the exemptions related to the salaried employees. We will discuss in the next slides. So the first exemption which we are discussing right now is the HRA, House Rent Allowance, section 1013A. If you are a salaried person, you are living in a rented apartment, paying your rent, yes, this exemption is for you. You can claim the exemption under section 1013A. But before that, before going into the calculation part or the steps to calculate the exemption, let us understand why this exemption is provided. What is the objective of that? Now suppose there is a salaried person who is earning 10 to 12 lakh per annum salary, and his location of job is Pune or Mumbai. तो अगर पुणे और मुंबई जैसे सिटी में आप 1 BHK फ्लैट भी लेने जाओगे तो उसका रेंट होगा अराउंड 25 to 30,000. दैट वुड कम अराउंड 3 लाख रुपए पर एनम. 12 लाख की सैलरी पर एनम, एंड आउट ऑफ दैट आप साल भर का 3 लाख रुपए का रेंट पे कर रहे हो, एंड उस पर भी अगर ये एग्जम्पशन ना मिले आपको, तो suppose how burdensome that situation will be for a salaried person. By understanding that situation of a salaried person, Income Tax Act came with this exemption. Now what Income Tax Act says that अगर आपको ये exemption चाहिए तो मेरे लिए आपको 3 कैलकुलेशन करनी पड़ेगी. There are 3 steps which you have to calculate, and जो भी उनमें सबसे कम होगा that will be your exemption. Yeah, in maximum time Income Tax came with this kind of a phenomena that they are giving some certain situations, और उनमें से जो भी सबसे कम होगा that will be your benefit. So let's take the first step of calculation, that is the actual HRA received. Mark my word, if your salary slip or your salary component is not having the HRA as a component, you will not get this benefit. So whatever actual HRA you are receiving from the employer, that will be your first step of calculation. The second thing is based on your basic plus DA salary. So you know your component of salary. In that case, you have to identify what is the basic salary part and the DA part. And that is also depending upon the non-metro city you are working or a metro city you are working in. So in case of a metro city, your second step calculation would be 50% of your basic plus DA. If you are working in a non-metro city as like the Pune, you have to calculate 40% of your basic plus DA. So that would be your second step of calculation. Now the third step is whatever rent you are paying, that rent minus the 10% of basic plus DA, that would be your third step of calculation. ये सारा झमेला करने के बाद में जो सबसे कम वैल्यू इन तीनों स्टेप्स की हैं, इन तीनों स्टेप्स में से जो सबसे कम वैल्यू है, that will be the exemption under section 1013A. Now let's take an example to further understand this concept. So for example, if HRA received is 1,50,000, basic plus DA is 5 lakh, rent is 2,40,000. So please remember what are the 3 steps which I just told you for calculating the exemptions under section 1013A, which is the HRA exemptions. The first thing was the actual HRA received. The actual HRA received in our example is 1,50,000. That becomes the first step of our calculation. The second step was depending upon the non-metro city or metro city in which you are working in. So in my example, I assume that the person is working in a non-metro city as like Pune. So I've taken the 40% as the parameter for the calculation. So what second step says that 40% or 50% of your basic plus DA. Now in my case, basic plus DA is 5 lakh and 40% of that comes to 2 lakh rupees. So that becomes the second step of calculation. Now let's take the third calculation step, which is the rent minus 10% of basic plus DA. My basic plus DA is 5 lakh and 10% of that comes to 50,000. My rent is 2,40,000. So 2,40,000 minus 50,000, that comes to 1,90,000. And what is the benefit I told you? The lower of the three, which is 1,50,000 rupees. Now, why I deliberately took this example? What happens is, many of the companies give you the opportunity to select how much HRA you wanted to receive. Now suppose if that option is given to you, and if that person uh, would have selected an amount of 1,90,000 or more, what his exemption would have been? So first step of actual receipt would have become 1,90,000 for the sake of example, and second step would be remaining same as his basic and DA is same. Third step would also be remaining the same. So because of the change in his actual HRA received, his exemption would have increased by 40,000 rupee. And let's suppose if he is coming into the 30% tax slab bracket, because his income is more than 10 lakh rupees, how much tax he would have saved if he would have selected 1,50,000 की जगह 1,90,000. 40,000 एक्स्ट्रा एग्जाम्शन उसको मिलता, और उस 40,000 का 30% दैट वुड बी 12,000 रुपीज. 12,000 रुपए टैक्स बचाने की अपॉर्चुनिटी उस इंसान ने खो दी. So because of that I took this example, that please be careful if your company is providing you the option to select the HRA amount which you wanted to receive. Do all these three calculation, and if you don't want to do that calculation, there are various sites are there over the Google. You can search out the optimum level of HRA exemption. They will provide you all those details, that how much HRA you should be claiming to get the maximum benefit out of that. So please be careful in that in that case, because this can save your few bucks out of your salary. The second exemption which we are talking about is LTA, leave travel allowance, which is covered under section 10(5). Now to understand this, I have noted down few questions or queries which can come into your mind. We'll answer one by one to those things, and we'll try to understand what exemptions we can claim in this section. First thing is that what is LTA? So LTA is nothing but the allowances which is provided by the employer to employee for traveling on leave. ऑफिस से आप छुट्टी लेते हैं, कहीं घूमने जाते हैं, ये उसी चीज की बात हो रही है. दिस इज व्हाट LTA is. The second thing is conditions for claiming allowances of LTA under section 10(5). So what Income Tax Act says कि आप कहीं घूमने जा रहे हो, जा तो रहे हो, बट पहले ये कंडीशन सुन लो कि इन कंडीशंस को फुलफिल करना बहुत कंपलसरी है, अदरवाइज आई एम नॉट श्योर कि आपको कितना एग्जेम्पशन मिलेगा. तो एसएससी बोलता है कि प्लीज बताइए कि वो कंडीशंस क्या क्या है. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट कहता है फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज दैट एक्चुअल जर्नी इज कंपलसरी. आप ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते कि मेरी कंपनी मुझे एलटीए दे रही है और मैं घर पे बैठा हूं, तो प्लीज गिव मी दैट एलटीए एग्जम्पशन. नो, एक्चुअल जर्नी इज कंपलसरी. ऑफिस घर से कहीं निकलना पड़ेगा, कहीं दूर जाना पड़ेगा, तब तो आपको ये एग्जम्पशन मिलेगी. आई एम सॉरी. सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट सेज कि कहीं दूर आप जो जहां निकल रहे हो, ज्यादा दूर मत निकल जाना, because what we are saying in our second condition is that only domestic journey is covered here. घूमते घूमते मालदीव निकल गए तो उसका ट्रेवलिंग का खर्चा हम आपको एग्जाम्पशन में नहीं देने वाले हैं. ओके, सो व्हाट इज द थर्ड थिंग, थर्ड कंडीशन? Third condition is that you can only go with your family. Now what is family? Family is defined for this particular section, that your spouse, your two children's, and I'm sorry about that, your brother and sister and your dependent parents, they will come into your family. बाकी सबको भूल जाओ, मामा चाचा कोई आपकी फैमिली में नहीं आता है for this particular exemption. So the question which comes into our mind is that what you are saying is only two children are allowed. What happens कि मेरा पहले बेबीज ही ट्विंस हुए, तो क्या उसके बाद में अगर सिंगल चाइल्ड पैदा होता है, सो विल दैट ऑल्सो बी कवर्ड? तो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट बोलता है ये अगर फर्स्ट टाइम अगर आपके ट्विंस हुए हैं, so for the third child you can't claim the exemption. But agar first child was a single child and after that twins came into the picture, सो इन दैट केस आप उन सारे बच्चों पे LTA एग्जम्पशन क्लेम कर सकते हो. ओके, सो द थर्ड थिंग इज हाउ मच आई कैन क्लेम. ठीक है, मुझे पता चल गया कि मुझे एक्चुअल जर्नी करनी है, मुझे इंडिया के अंदर जर्नी करनी है, मुझे फैमिली के साथ में जाना है, बट मुझे कितना एग्जम्पशन मिलेगा, किस चीज का एग्जम्पशन मुझे मिल रहा है. तो व्हाट आई एम सॉरी अबाउट दैट, व्हाट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट सेज कि अगर आप एयर फेयर से जा रहे हो, सपोज आपका मन हुआ कि आपको गोवा जाना है, आपने टिकट कराई एयर फेयर की, तो व्हाट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट सेज कि इकोनॉमी क्लास की जो एयर फेयर होगी उसका एग्जम्पशन आपको मिल जाएगा. नाउ सेकंड क्वेश्चन कम्स कि मैं जिस जगह जाना चाहता हूं वो किसी पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट से कनेक्टेड ही नहीं है, तो मुझे कितना एग्जम्पशन मिलेगा. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट सेज कि इन दैट कंडीशन आपको फर्स्ट क्लास रेल फेयर का एग्जम्पशन, वो फर्स्ट क्लास रेल का जितना फेयर होता है उतना एग्जम्पशन आपको मिल जाएगा. ना यू वुड से कि नहीं 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 नहीं, मैं जहां जा रहा हूं वो ट्रेन से या रेल से कनेक्टेड है. सो इन दैट केस व्हाट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट सेज कि फिर आप कोई भी सोर्स से जा रहे हो, अगर वो आपका ओरिजिन एंड डेस्टिनेशन इज कवर्ड बाय द रेल ट्रैक्स और रेलवे सर्विसेज आर ओवर देयर, अदर देन एयर फेयर, आप कोई भी सोर्स से अगर जा रहे हो तो आपका एग्जम्पशन विल बी लिमिटेड टू दी फर्स्ट क्लास रेल फेयर, उसके जितना आपको एग्जम्पशन मिल जाएगा. सो नाउ यू आर क्लियर हाउ मच यू कैन क्लेम द एग्जम्पशन. लेट्स टेक द थर्ड थिंग, हाउ मेनी टाइम्स आई कैन क्लेम LTA. So basically the question is how many times I can go for the vacations. What income tax act says कि आपको जाना जितनी बार चाहें आप जा सकते हो, बट हम एग्जम्पशन सिर्फ 4 साल में 2 बार देंगे. 4 कैलेंडर ईयर में अगर आप 2 बार घूमने जा रहे हो, सो जो भी आपका ओरिजिन से डेस्टिनेशन पर जाने का किराया है, फेयर है, उस चीज का एग्जम्पशन हम आपको प्रोवाइड करेंगे. The third thing is, what is the procedure to claim LTA? Nothing. If your company is providing you the LTA in the month of January, February, around that they ask you the tickets or the boarding passes for the supporting, and on that basis your LTA will be released to you. Now the thing which comes into your mind is, suppose when my company ask in the initial phase to structure my salary and I feel that okay 60,000 LTA I'm expecting. No, I'm sorry about that. बट ऐसा हुआ कि मैं कहीं घूमने जा ही नहीं सका साल भर, तो क्या मुझे ये LTA वाला पोर्शन मुझे मिलेगा? और एग्जम्पशंस तो खैर स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, एज यू नो द कंडीशंस आर एक्चुअल जर्नी इज कंपलसरी, तो एग्जम्पशन तो नहीं मिलेगा, बट यस योर कंपनी विल पे यू दैट LTA आफ्टर डिडक्टिंग द TDS ऑन दैट. एग्जम्पशंस आपको नहीं मिलेंगी. सो दिस इज व्हाट LTA इज. सो let's take the next exemption which is coming in our way. So before taking the third exemption, I forgot about the LTA that in case of LTA, if you wanted to go in every year and wanted to claim the exemptions, there is one thing which you can do is, if your wife is also working, तो 4 साल में 2 बार exemption आप लो, 2 बार आपकी wife ले लेगी. So in that case, for the 4 years, your traveling cost will be covered over there. And the thing is that only the fare to reach the destination and to come back, that is only covered. वहाँ जाने के बाद में ऑटो टैक्सी का किराया, होटल एंड स्टे का किराया, that will not be covered in that case. Okay, so the next third allowances or the exemptions which is coming for our discussion is the children education and hostel allowances under section 1014. बहुत ही छोटा अमाउंट है इवन दो, बट जो भी मिल रहा है लेने में कोई नुकसान नहीं है. व्हाट इनकम टैक्स एक्ट सेज दैट हॉस्टल एक्सपेंडिचर के लिए आपको 300 रुपए पर मंथ पर चाइल्ड अप टू मैक्सिमम ऑफ 2 चिल्ड्रंस आर अलाउड. और चिल्ड्रंस एजुकेशन अलाउंस के लिए 100 रुपए पर मंथ पर चाइल्ड अप टू ए मैक्सिमम ऑफ 2 चिल्ड्रंस अलाउड. सो इन दोनों कंडीशंस में द मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट विच यू विल बी गेटिंग इज the 9,600. But still, if you are coming into a 30% tax slab. So that 10,000 into 30% which would be around 3,000. तो 3,000 का टैक्स आपका इन चीज़ों पे भी बच जाएगा, तो क्या बुराई है. Okay, so the next thing is the reimbursement part. The second major thing, we have discussed the exemptions, which is majorly provided to the salaried employee. Now let's discuss the reimbursement part. So in the reimbursement section, as we earlier discussed, कि reimbursement का मतलब होता है that employer is uh, giving the compensation to the employee for the expenses which is made by the employee out of their pocket. So all those kind of expenditure, if company is having a policy, please mark my word, it is not compulsory that every company might be giving these kind of reimbursements. But if your company is providing you such reimbursements, that is well and good. You can take the benefit out of that. Income Tax Act says that any expenditure, sorry, the any reimbursement which a company is providing, and that is for the office use, those are not taxable as your taxable salary income. Normally, as we discussed, the internet expenses, the mobile expenses, and the food coupons or Sodexo cards are there. But in case of food coupons, the Income Tax Act has defined a limit that if your company is providing you the food coupons or Sodexo card, your exemption will be till 50 rupee per meal, 2 meals per day. So for example, your company is working for, let's suppose Saturday and Sundays are off. So 22 days your company is working. 50 rupee per meal and 2 meals per day. That would be 100 rupee per day. And 22 days are there. So 2200 benefits you can take out of that. So these are the reimbursement. छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, but इनका benefits ले लेने में कोई बुराई नहीं है. So let's go to the third major part of our discussion for the today's video, which is the deductions. So the first discussion which we are having on the deduction part is regarding the standard deduction, which is provided under section 16 IA. Initial discussions में हमने समझा था कि इनकम टैक्स एक्ट को इनकम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से और सोर्स ऑफ इनकम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से 5 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया हुआ है. सैलरी, हाउस प्रॉपर्टी, बिजनेस प्रोफेशन, कैपिटल गेन एंड अदर सोर्सेस. Now what happens is there are particular set of sections related to particular source of income. As I told you that 15, 16, 17 is related to the salary income, till 27 is related to the house property, 28 to 44 is related to the business and profession, and section 45 till 54 is related to the capital gains, like that. So within that section frame, there are some sections which is providing deductions for that particular source of income. So for salary, there is a standard deduction under section 16 IA. What it says is that the standard deduction replaced transport allowances of 19,200 and medical reimbursement of 15,000. अब होता ये था कि कुछ टाइम पहले ट्रांसपोर्ट अलाउंसेस का एग्जम्पशन मिलता था 19,200 का, और मेडिकल रिएम्बर्समेंट का एग्जम्पशन मिलता था 15,000 का. तो हुआ ये कि फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री ने ये दोनों अलाउंसेस का एग्जम्पशन रिमूव कर दिया, एंड इन प्लेस ऑफ दैट दे इंट्रोड्यूस सेक्शन 16 IA कि ये दोनों एग्जम्पशंस को भूल जाइए, हम आपको एग्जम्पशंस देते हैं 40,000 का. इनिशियली दैट एग्जम्पशन वाज that deduction was for the 40,000 rupee. Later in the budget 2019, ये डिडक्शन का अमाउंट बढ़ा के 50,000 कर दिया गया. There is no condition attached to this deduction. Any salaried person can claim this 50,000 rupee deduction straightforward. Nothing to think on that. सीधा सैलरी इनकम लो, 50,000 रुपए का स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन उसमें से माइनस कर दो. So this is what the first deduction which we discussed. Let's go to the next deduction.
The next deduction which we are going to discuss is deduction under section 24B. Now what is deduction under section 24B? It is regarding the interest on home loan. You will be provided deduction for the interest portion of a home loan. What are the conditions for that? The condition is the taxpayer must acquire, construct, repair, renew, reconstruct the property with borrowed capital. होम लोन लिया, उससे आपने कोई पर्सनल यूज किया, तो that interest portion will not be eligible for the deduction. The second condition is that such acquisition or construction is completed within 5 years from the end of financial year in which the capital was borrowed. जिस साल आपने लोन लिया उस साल के एंड से 5 साल में आपकी प्रॉपर्टी या तो एक्वायर हो जानी चाहिए या कंस्ट्रक्ट हो जानी चाहिए. The next thing is that the house property is either self occupied or vacant. अब होता ऐसा है कि मैं पुणे में जॉब करता हूँ और मैंने राजस्थान में, जो कि मेरा होम टाउन है, वहां पे कोई प्रॉपर्टी कंस्ट्रक्ट करी. So that property is just for the investment purposes. I don't have any intention to rent it out. So that will be fulfilling that condition that my property will be vacant in that case, or it will be self-occupied. So if these three conditions are getting fulfilled, you will get a maximum benefit of rupees 2 lakh. So let's take the next deduction. So the next deduction which we are talking about is the all-time favorite 80C deductions. What income tax has done is that they have notified some of the investment schemes or some of the things. If you will be fulfilling those things, you will get the deduction under section 80C. As like if you are investing in ELSS, equity linked saving schemes, which is basically the mutual funds notified, or you are investing in public provident fund or employee provident fund. So EPF is basically being deducted out of your salary. So that is also eligible for the 80C deduction. Please make note of that the part of employer is not eligible for section 80C. That is what the company is claiming as an expenses in their books of accounts. What is now the next thing is the LIC premium, which is also covered under section 80C, the principal amount of home loan. Now we discussed section 24B before this, which was covering the interest portion of the home loan, and now 80C is covering the principal amount of home loan. You can see that Income Tax Act is promoting you to acquire the property. They are giving benefits on the interest part, they are giving benefits on the principal part of the home loan. Next is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, and ULIP is also there, unit linked insurance plan. National savings certificates is also there in this list. So there are few more things which is covered under section 80C, but we are not taking the names of those things. 5-year FD deposit plan is there, tuition fees is there. So majorly these are the 6 or 7 things which individual salary person is investing their money in. So that's why I've taken these things into the consideration. And the maximum benefit or maximum deductions you can take out of this is the 1,50,000 rupee. Let's talk about the next deduction. Next deduction which we are going to discuss is deduction under section 80D. And now what is deduction under section 80D? This is health insurance and preventive health checkups. अगर आप अपने स्पाउस का, अपने बच्चों का या अपने पेरेंट्स का कोई हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस करवाते हैं, तो इस हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस के लिए भी इनकम टैक्स एक्ट आपको डिडक्शंस प्रोवाइड करता है. नाउ व्हाट इज द लिमिट फॉर द डिडक्शन? अगर आपने अपने लिए, अपनी स्पाउस के लिए, अपने चिल्ड्रंस के लिए अगर कोई हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस लिया है तो उसकी लिमिट है 25,000 सबको मिला के. एंड फॉर पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो इफ यू हैव टेकन द इंश्योरेंस, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्लान, that additional 25,000 is also provided under the under section 80D. Now what Income Tax Act says under section 80D is that if any of the person for which you are taking the health insurance is senior citizen means who is crossed the age of 60, then additional 25,000 limit is unlocked for that particular category. So basically there are two categories. One category in which you, your spouse and your children are coming, and the second category is your parents category. So in your category, say there is no one who is the senior citizen person, So 25 would be the maximum limit. And in your parents case, if anyone of or any of your parents are senior citizens, that additional 25,000 limit will unlock in that case. So maximum benefit in best case scenario, that you are also a senior citizen, your parents are also a senior citizen, then the maximum benefit you can take is 1 lakh rupee. But normally I assume that you are of my age and your parents might be the senior citizen. So in my case, I can take the benefit of self, spouse, children category 25,000 and parents category 50,000, which is 75,000. Now what Income Tax Act says, that this is what the maximum limit. Your insurance plan, whatever the insurance premium you are paying, that would be the deduction amount. So normally एक इंसान इतना महंगा इंश्योरेंस प्लान तो नहीं ले पाता है. जनरली उसका इंश्योरेंस प्लान 10, 12, 15,000 रुपए का होता है. और पेरेंट्स के लिए, क्योंकि उनकी एज ज़्यादा होती है, उनका प्रीमियम भी ज़्यादा होता है, तो 15 से 20,000 का इंश्योरेंस प्लान उनके लिए. So I'm taking around 40,000 is the normal range of deduction a person may be claiming. And other than that, what Income Tax Act says कि अगर आपकी कोई भी लिमिट फिल नहीं हुई है, and if you are going under a preventive health checkups, so that 5,000 of preventive health checkup deductions also you can take in this section. So this is what under section 80D deductions are. Let's take the next deduction. So the next deduction is the deduction under section 80CCD. And what is that? It is the NPS or National Pension Scheme. I personally don't like investing in this category. The reason being that the lock-in period is very much, which is up till 60 years of age, I cannot withdraw. And even if I can withdraw, there are some taxability clauses are also there. And also if I attain the age of 60, after that also I can withdraw only 60%, and after that annuity will be converted for that balance 40% amount. I'll be monthly receiving the pensions out of that. So due to the lock-in period of so long period, and there are so taxability clause for the premature withdrawals, and maximum limit is also 50,000 in this case. So because of that, I personally don't like investing in that category. But suppose your gross total income is very near to the 5 lakh, and you just need 4, 5, 6,000 rupees to save your taxes. In that category, you can think about investing in section 80CCD, that means the NPS schemes. Otherwise, I personally don't like. So the next section, we are discussing some other deductions which is provided by section 80. We will not be discussing that in detail because they are not so much of concern for us. Major parts we have already covered. There is section 80 TTA. So whatever saving account interest you are earning, there is a 10,000 rupees deduction which is provided by section 80 TTA. अगर आपका कोई सेविंग अकाउंट है, उसमें इंटरेस्ट की इनकम 10,000 रुपये आती है, तो वो 10,000 रुपये तक का इंटरेस्ट डिडक्शन के लिए एलिजिबल होगा अंडर सेक्शन 80 TTA. Other than that, there is interest on higher education loan. You can take for yourself, your children's, your spouse. So whatever interest would be there on the higher education loan, that will be eligible for the deduction. Next is ATG, which is donations. So there are certain categories in which 50% and 100% of the deduction is allowed for the amount you are donating in particular schemes or particular what should I say, the yojanas, the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. These kind of things are notified by the Income Tax Act, in which if you are investing or in which you are donating, you can claim the deduction under section 80G. There is interest on residential house property loan is also there under section 80EE. So these are all the major deductions which we have covered, which is available for a salaried employee. Now just let us take an example to check whether what we were saying, that अगर आपकी इनकम 12 लाख के आसपास भी है तो भी आपको 1 रुपए का भी टैक्स देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Whether that can be feasible in that case also, we'll take each of the component of exemptions and deductions to identify how much we can save in case our income is 12 lakh. This is an example. So as you can see, the gross salary I mentioned is the 12 lakh rupees. And under section 10 deductions which I'm claiming is HRA 2 lakh, which is very nominal, because आप कोई भी locations में रहते हैं, either it is Pune, Mumbai, Delhi, 2 lakh is very minimal amount because your rent would be much higher. So when you will calculate those three steps, your HRA would be coming around this range. So that's why I taken the 2 lakh as HRA exemptions. Now let's talk about the LTA. I've taken 50,000 as LTA exemptions because if myself, my children's and my spouse and parents, if they are all going with me for the traveling, that would be the normal traveling expense for any part if I'm traveling by airfare or even by rail also. So 50,000 I've taken as LTA. Other allowances and reimbursement I've taken 15,000. That would be covering 9,600 of children allowances and hostel allowances. Definitely that will be claimed only in case you have children. Otherwise that would be reduced out of this category and this will be taxable. And other than that, there are reimbursements or reimbursements are also there, so you can take those benefits. So if I'll take the exemption benefit, out of 12 lakh, my net salary becomes 9,35,000. And there is a standard deduction. I told you that 26IA is providing you straightforward 50,000 deduction, which you will minus here, and your taxable salary will come around 8,85,000 rupees. Now I told you that interest on home loan deduction is also there under section 24B, and the maximum limit is 2 lakh. If you take that benefit of 2 lakh and deduction under section 80, so under section 80 ATC you can claim 1,50,000, and under section 80D you can claim around 35,000. So that would come around 1,85,000. So ये सारे exemptions और deductions निकाल देने के बाद में आपकी जो net taxable income आती है वो आती है 5 लाख रुपए. अब आप बोलेंगे, जिसको भी इनकम टैक्स की स्लैब्स का थोड़ा भी आइडिया होगा, कि 2.5 लाख से 5 लाख के बीच में भी 5% इनकम टैक्स लगता है, एंड माई इनकम इज 5 लाख. बट देयर इज अ रिबेट अंडर सेक्शन 87A विच सेज अगर आपकी नेट टैक्सेबल इनकम 5 लाख से ऊपर नहीं है तो आपको 12,500 का रिबेट इनकम टैक्स प्रोवाइड करता है. So in this case my tax would also come 12,500 and my rebate would also come 12,500. So in that case my tax liability would be 0. Now in the next slide or in the next section we are going to take a view of the rate of tax at which we have to pay the income taxes. These are the income tax slabs for the financial year 21-22, which is the assessment year 22-23 as well. The income tax return of which you will file in the month around July 2022 next year. The year which is going on, return of which you will file in the next year. So what are the income tax rates? Now we know what are the components of salary. We know what are the exemptions, what are the reimbursements, what are the deductions which is available to us. And after taking into consideration all those things, what is my taxable income, net taxable income? Suppose your net taxable income is 10 lakh rupee. So Income Tax Act has provided two kind of schemes. One is the old income tax regime and second thing is the new income tax regime. कि जो भी आपको अच्छा लगे वो स्कीम आप ले लो, उसके अकॉर्डिंग आप टैक्स फिल कर दो. पर एक चीज ध्यान रखना कि अगर आप न्यू इनकम टैक्स रिजीम में जाना चाहते हैं तो आपको, हमने अभी जितनी भी एग्जम्पशंस और डिडक्शंस पढ़ी हैं उनका किसी का भी बेनिफिट आपको नहीं मिलेगा. सो अगर आप इन्वेस्टमेंट्स में बिलीव नहीं करते हैं और आपको ऐसा लगता है कि जो टैक्स बचेगा उससे आप और ज्यादा इनकम अर्न कर सकते हैं, तो यू कैन गो फॉर द न्यू स्कीम. बट इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग around 2,50,000 or more than that, that in every case the old scheme will be favorable to you. This is what the crux is. Otherwise, if you wanted to compare your taxability in both these categories, you can Google the old scheme versus new scheme taxability. They will provide you the best regime for you to follow. The major difference in these two regimes is that new income tax regime staggered the incomes with the difference of 2,50,000. If you can see that up to 250, there is same thing, there is no tax, and 2,50,000 to 5 lakh there is 5% tax which is to be paid, which is same in both the cases. After that the story changes. The old scheme says that 5 लाख से 10 लाख तक आपको 20% टैक्स देना है, मतलब 1 लाख का टैक्स इस 5 लाख पे. Now what new scheme says कि 5 लाख से 7.5 लाख तक 10% और 7.5 लाख से 10 लाख तक 15%. So there is no 20% slab in this category. So obviously new scheme is providing the lower rates, but he is taking away the benefit eligibility, or what should I say, the rights of benefits of exemptions and deductions out of you. You cannot take any exemption and reimbursement or the deductions in case you are following the new tax regime. So in nutshell, if you are investing with a huge volume and your investments are more than 2,50,000, investments and exemptions are more than 2,50,000, you will always be favorable in the old tax regime. So now this is what the whole thing which for which we have made this video. We understand what is the sources of income defined under Income Tax Act, what are the exemptions, what is the deductions, what is the maximum limit, what are the conditions, all those things we have understood. Now the last thing which I wanted to just show you is the Finance Ministry's one statement during the budget of 2017. So as you can see, the 2018 budget speech, Mr. Arun Jaitley was the finance minister at that time, and he said that there is a general perception in the society that individual business persons have better income as compared to salaried class. What they are trying to say कि जो salary वाले लोग हैं उनसे ज़्यादा business वाले लोग कमाते हैं. However, the income tax data analysis suggests that major portion of personal income tax collection comes from the salaried class. For assessment year 16-17, 1.89 crore salaried individuals have filed their returns and have paid total tax of 1.44 lakh crore. 1,89,00,000 सैलरीड इंडिविजुअल्स जिन्होंने इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल की थी, उन्होंने 1.44 लाख करोड़ का टैक्स डिपॉजिट किया, which works out to average tax payment of 76,306 per individual salaried taxpayer. हर एक salaried taxpayer 76,000 रुपए का टैक्स पे कर रहा है. As against this, 1.88 crore individual business taxpayers, including professionals who filed their return for the same assessment year, paid total tax of 48,000 crore, which works out to an average tax payment of 25,753 per individual business taxpayer. So what comes out of that is that we salaried person are paying more taxes as compared to the business and profession persons. As you can see, हर एक सैलरी पर्सन 76,306 रुपए का टैक्स पे कर रहा है और हर बिजनेस क्लास वाला 25,753 रुपए का टैक्स पे कर रहा है. सो कोई अगर बोले कि सैलरी वाले टैक्स पे नहीं करते हैं या कम टैक्स पे करते हैं, यू कैन शो देम द डेटा विच इज प्रोवाइडेड इन द 2018 बजट स्पीच. Thank you so much for hearing me for that particular session. In comment section, you can tell me any other sections or any other income tax related details you wanted to know. I'll make the videos on that. Thank you so much.